From the ECSI Sports Studios and the #1 sports investors in America, we bring you The Closing Bell. As the market closes, legends Jeff Dawson and Riley Magnuson bring you all the sports investing tips for tonight's matchups. If you want to learn more from the two legends at the desk, make sure you stay tuned to The Closing Bell.
Moving on not only the next week, but most likely the week after that, if my standing knowledge is correct to the FedEx Cup there. So nonetheless, obviously we've got two fantastic weekends of golf coming up. This next one closer to my neck of the woods, Olympia Fields, Illinois. Patrick Cantlay, the defending champ of that tournament, obviously had a fantastic Sunday. Not quite fantastic enough, but fantastic enough to get him into that playoff. Obviously hits it in the water, and then the rest is history for Lucas Glover there. But nonetheless, we're going to have a lot of fun. We'll have some more coverage as the week goes on as far as that tournament is concerned, and then obviously what that entails for the following week with the Tour Championship and everything going on with the FedEx Cup playoffs, because now we've only got down to 50 players. And those remaining are left jockeying for the top 30. And then obviously, if you have any shot at taking the helm of the crown, you want to get yourself as good a standing as possible. So we'll be breaking that down as we go along. As far as news is concerned today, we'll go dive into my own thoughts, opinions, speculations, whatever it is. Some hot topic breaking news coming out though around the sports world. Obviously, you had the Michael Orr situation going on, calling, which seems, I mean, this is a situation that's not really he said, she said situation. I think it's going to get solved legally in some fashion as far as the Michael Orr situation is concerned, alleging that the movie was a blatant lie, which obviously I know a lot of people had assumed that it was Hollywoodized, but the core subject of the movie obviously is being considered a lie by Michael Orr himself. So haven't seen that. Go dive into the research, the articles as far as that is concerned. And then obviously the other news of the day right now in the baseball world, pretty grim. I don't know if grim is the right word, and I'm not going to speculate. Obviously, I hope it isn't true. If it is true, justice needs to be served. But Wander Franco for the Tampa Bay Rays, put on the restricted list right now, which is not an injury list. It is 100% to do with some social media posts that come out. And again, not going to speculate, but do your own research. But potential relationship with a minor, which obviously is going to get him kicked out of the league if that is the case, and rightfully so. So that would be a huge setback for the Tampa Bay Rays and what they've built. Obviously, that's not what's important, but that appears to be what the potential reality might be if it is true. Obviously, that's a big if. We'll see how things proceed, but that is obviously a hot topic situation going on in the sports world right now, so I figured I'd mention that. And obviously, the Tampa Bay Rays are in a playoff race, so a guy who's performing pretty well and had just signed a massive contract that could come back to be a gigantic issue for him and for that organization, obviously, if this is all true. So hoping that it is not true. And again, if it is true, then justice needs to be served to the fullest extent. So moving on from that, on to more lighter topics. Obviously got the NFL season rolling along. Haven't heard any too much news as far as any Dalvin Cook, Ezekiel Elliott signings, anything along those lines. I'm sure we will be right on top of it whenever that does happen. Zach Martin gets his new deal with the Cowboys. That holdout is no longer happening anymore. And J.K. Dobbins off the PUP list. So that is positive news if you're a Ravens fan, obviously, there. And hoping that he gets back to not only full health, but looking like the guy that he appeared he could be. For those who, he's only 24 years old. Obviously, the shelf life of a running back is shorter, but for a guy who seems like he's been in the league a little longer, I would have guessed a little older than 24. Obviously, if he can get himself healthy, he could have some. He's only played in 23 games, so if he can get to full health, he might have some fresh legs in him. So definitely noteworthy there. But aside from that, we'll probably go on deeper into some NFL stuff as the week goes on. No preseason happening until Thursday night. And we'll have some Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Monday action for some preseason this week. But nonetheless, aside from that, we've got MLB happening tonight. Fun weekend in the MLB this past weekend. And like I said, 9 games here tonight. The dog days of summer are upon us. These races are heating up. I mean, there's some with some drama for sure. Obviously, the NL Central is one where the losers might not make the playoffs at all. Some of these other division races, obviously, these teams might fall into the wild card category. But nonetheless, things are heating up here. And as far as tonight's case is concerned, there's obviously some teams that are involved in the madness right now. So without further ado, I'm going solo today. There's only 9 games, so it's going to be fairly short and sweet. And we can get right into things with Houston and Miami. The first one up at 5:40 my time, 6:40 East Coast time. That early or late afternoon, early evening start here on the East Coast over there. Late afternoon, early evening for my standards here. But anyways, Houston and Miami, decent little series this week. Both these teams obviously involved in races. Miami on their side of things, after a rough stretch, they've won their last 2 series now, the end of last week and now this weekend against the Reds and the Yankees. Huge one against the Reds, obviously another team that's in that wild card race with them. So they are very much in the thick of it. I believe they were a half game up on the Reds and Cubs, if I'm not mistaken, in that last wild card spot. Astros obviously playing really well right now. 2 of 3 from both the O's and the Angels each the last 2. So massive ones for them as far as potentially trying to catch the Orioles for if they can get into the number 1 spot in their own division. And then obviously beating that Angels team and pushing them down into what they've been in. We'll get into them in a little bit because they are playing tonight as well. But we've got a nice little pitching matchup tonight on this one. Framber Valdez for Houston and Braxton Garrett for Miami. Valdez, last time out, first time out since his no-hitter, 7 innings, 8 hits, 6 earned runs. So it was not very good. If you're a person that likes to bet against that follow-up start after every game or a no-no, it was successful for you. And Braxton Garrett, on the other hand, 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs his last time out. He's been really solid his last 3. He's had a couple of rough stretches, but if you've been paying attention to him, he's been when he's been on, he's been fantastic. Looks like a shining light in that in the future of that starting rotation, amongst obviously some other pieces there as well. But 3 earned runs or less in each of his last 3. And you've got this Astros team minus 135 here on the road in Miami with Framber Valdez, who, yes, he had the ugly one last time out, but not too far removed from a no-hitter, and obviously a guy who's garnered a lot of respect in betting angles here, and from the betting public, I should say. 3.3 ERA on the season. So what I'm saying is I think this number, if you're looking at Miami, is a little inflated. It has gone the opposite way. Houston opened up at minus 150 and has come down to minus 135. However, it's still at plus money there. It does seem a little too good to be true for how well this Astros team is playing. With Framber Valdez on the mound in a potential bounce back spot, he could have a couple issues. Braxton Garrett could also be absolutely fantastic tonight. So I'm going to lean towards, and the Marlins have been playing well after that rough streak. Their offense is picking things back up. 8 runs yesterday against the Yankees, 8-7. Actually, had it in the notes when the Yankees came up for today's games. Came back from a 7-3 deficit in the ninth inning to not only win that game, but win the series over the Yankees. So I guess through 8 innings, offense was a little down, but a nice 8-run total yesterday after a big win yesterday. So maybe if you're kind of throwing shade at the momentum, then maybe you don't think that. Or maybe you think that the plus money is too good to be true for the Marlins at home. But at the end of the day, with Valdez on the mound and the Astros with how well they're turning and kind of looking playoff form, Astros right now is where they're kind of headed right now. And at 7.5, 8 total, I think this could be a lower scoring game. Could Valdez be fantastic and have a fantastic bounce back? And it's a 2-1 Astros win? Absolutely. But Braxton Garrett could be really, really good tonight. And I think that's why you're seeing the total. I think that's why you're seeing this Marlins team as close in the splits on the money line here as they are. So I'm going to give Miami the chance here. And that's where I'm going to lean here. If you're looking at the first 5, it's minus 132 for the Astros, plus 106 for the Miami Marlins. So I think it could be really close to that point. At the end of the day, I'm going to lean towards the Marlins through the first 5 there and maybe a lower scoring game. Maybe Valdez has another 2 bad starts in a row before he gets things figured out, getting into playoff form for himself there. But at the end of the day, I am going to lean towards the Marlins at home out of this one. Pittsburgh and the New York Mets is the next one up. Priester versus Carrasco. Can't say as many nice things about this pitching matchup. Priester, 4 innings, 9 hits, 4 earned runs last time out. Carrasco, 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs last time out. First good start in over a month for him. But this Mets team, after a nice little series against the Cubs last week, absolutely obliterated 3 out of 4 games by the Braves. That Braves offense put the work on them all 3 of those games, if I'm not mistaken there. Pirates have been treading water. But you got a Mets team minus 134 at home here with Carlos Carrasco on the mound. Like I said, obviously was a lot better last time out, but with a guy in Priester who, as of right now, I don't think he's as bad as his numbers say he is, but he's at an 8.75 ERA right now. And we're only looking at what opened at minus 115, now to minus 134 money line. Something's a little fishy here. These teams have identical records. So on paper, in your head, without looking at records, you think Mets significantly better than the Pirates. But obviously, if you've paid attention to the Mets, you know what the situation is. But at the end of the day, this one seems a little fishy to me. The Mets did win yesterday, 7-6. The other 3 games in that series against the Braves, 7-0, 21-3, and 6-0. So an ugly showing at home in front of their home fans over the weekend, aside from obviously yesterday. And the Pirates, as I mentioned, they're treading water right now, but they've gotten out of that funk of whatever their record was June, July, the ugly stretch there. They've their offense is kind of evened themselves out, and now it's obviously up to their pitching whether or not they can keep them in these games. A handful of times they are not, but at the end of the day, what I'm roundabout saying is I am all the way leaning on this Pirates team tonight. This one is a little smelly to me. I think Carrasco could get blown up a little bit here. If you're leaning even stronger to that, maybe Priester gets blown up too, and you know the Pirates lose 9-8 or something like that. Go over to that Pirates team total. You can probably go. I see minus 105 on the over 4.5. Maybe you can find plus money on that over 4.5 somewhere. Maybe you can, or maybe you got to go a little tick up from that. But at the end of the day, I do think the Pirates are going to put up some runs today. You got a game total on 9.5. So. Maybe this is a spot where the Pirates get the win, but I definitely think the Pirates put up some runs here on Carrasco and whoever else the Mets decide to roll out after that. Like I said, 115 at open, now up to minus 135. If you're looking at the Mets, it's even inflated, and it's a situation where it's still fishy even at this number here. So going towards the Pirates on the and money line and team total. If you feel more comfortable about the team total, then I absolutely hear you there. Yankees and Braves. Yankees, I mentioned it with the Marlins, blew a 7-3 lead. Not at a point where they can do that, but blew a 7-3 lead yesterday against the Marlins in the 9th inning to lose that game and lose 2 out of 3 to that Marlins team. Now you run into the Atlanta Braves, who have despite what the record, I mean, this last week or so, their record is very good. I remember a week ago I mentioned their record over their last 7 games leading up into last Monday's show was 3-4 in their last 7. But I think their offense, even in all of those losses, put up 4 or 5 or more. So this Braves team is scorching hot. They're as hot as they need to be. They're the hottest team under the sun right now, I believe, unless I'm drawing a blank on somebody else. Excuse me. And now the Yankees, in a desperation spot, in a rock bottom spot, have to face this Braves team in Atlanta. So you've got Schmidt and Fried on the mound tonight. Schmidt, who's actually been really, really solid for this Yankees team, especially lately. 5 in the third, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 7 Ks last time out. Max Fried, a little bit of a not so great, maybe a little regression. 4 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned run his last time out. And so you've got a point where not only that, but you've got Max Fried, who could be in a potential bounce back spot. Total of 9 in this one. So I haven't had too many times getting into these Braves games. It was minus 250 down to 200. I think there's probably a lot of people trying to take a big swing with the Yankees. Obviously, have some personnel that could hang with this Braves team in any individual game. But it kind of really comes down to do you trust either of these pitchers? If you don't trust Fried, then you think this is going to be another ugly start for him, then obviously the Yankees have some value. But I don't think that is going to be the case here. He hasn't really had 2 bad starts in a row. Obviously, has been a little sporadic in his production not production, his starts that he's been able to put out. This will be start number 3 for him, so it still might not be more than 5 innings. 80 pitches the last couple of times, so he's still getting going here. But I think he's had 4 or 5 starts with 0 earned runs allowed, and the other 2 not so great. So what I'm saying is he hasn't done 2 in a row. So I kind of trust Max Fried tonight. I really have no interest in this one at all. I think Clarke Schmidt is due for some regression at some point. Whether or not it's happening tonight, I don't know. But at the end of the day, you've got a flat 9 with Fried on the mound. Braves team total 5.5 at plus money. Maybe go ahead and take the, if you've been riding that train, then you got to keep riding that train. If you haven't been on the train, because they've been putting up more than that in their last 4 games or 6 or more. So maybe you take a break, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe this Braves team cools down a little bit tonight. But nothing would surprise me out of this one. I can see the Braves taking it to it and taking care of business here tonight at home against the Yanks. A's and Cardinals. I'm not really interested in paying the price for the Cardinals minus 200 against anybody. Obviously, it is the Oakland A's, but I've not tried to dive into these Oakland A's games at all. Sears and Mikolas in this one, both of them have been fine. Cardinals offense has been decent this last few games, but I mean at that point all season long, when you say that after a 3-4 game stretch, they go back in the tank. So minus 225 now, 215 at open. I think the Cardinals should probably win, but this might be a closer game than you would expect. Oakland put up a big 7 number yesterday. They lose, but they put up a big 7 number yesterday. Maybe they got 2 offensive days in a row. So I don't think you should be betting on this Cardinals team in the year of 2023 as more than the minus 200 favorite. So that is where I'm at with that one, and I'm keeping it moving from there. Excuse me. Angels and Texas Rangers is the next one up. Obviously a very big one there. The Angels 59 and 60, under 500 now. But you got Sandoval and Scherzer on the mound here, so a good pitching matchup. And if you have not been paying in the last 2 weeks to Sandoval, you're probably saying not a very good pitching matchup because he hasn't been very good this year. Turning things around as of late. I mentioned, I think last week, his hit total had come way down, but his walks were still up a little bit. 3, 4, 5 walks in some of these starts. On paper, all the other aspects of it a lot better. Now, his last time out, 6 2/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, only 1 walk and 8 Ks. So much, much closer to what we saw last year in 2022 for Sandoval. And Scherzer was really good last time against the Oakland A's, though. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run. I believe that was his second start with Texas here. Rangers just win a series over the Giants. Obviously playing very good ball right now. And Angels lose a series to the Astros. 3 or less runs scored in all 3 of those games. So their struggles continue right now. And you've got Texas minus 185. And I really don't know what to make of it because offensively I could see this Angels team really struggling again here. But I'm a guy that I think a lot of us here at ECS, I like Patrick Sandoval. And I think some of this number of why it's as close as it is with how cold the Angels are and with how good the Rangers have been is that a little respect to Sandoval turning things around. Could they blow them up? And this is an easy 5-1 victory for the Rangers? Absolutely. And you've got a team full game total 8.5. So it is a little wonky here. I'm not really sure what to make out of this one. I want to believe in Sandoval. Still need to see more of it consistently to really dive into him and really believe in him here. And again, he could be fantastic tonight, and the Angels offense continues to be the Angels offense that we've seen the last week and a half or two, and put up 3 or less. So that's really what's keeping me away from it. Maybe you would suggest that Scherzer's due, with the way his season's been going, due for a little regression here. I could absolutely see that. But again, against this Angels offense that is not very good right now. Open up about minus 155 up to minus 185. So I'm going to lean on a really nice Sandoval start. And I'll lean on Angels first 5. But at the end of the day, I'm not diving into it. Need to see it a little more from Sandoval. I mean, Scherzer is at the end of the middle of August here. Could be turning things on for the next month and a half, 2 months stretch here. And to kick ourselves away from MLB talk right now, a little breaking news out of the NFL. Abruptly here, the Patriots are expected to sign Cowboys former running back Ezekiel Elliott to a 1-year deal worth up to $6 million after a successful free agent visit early in camp. So the Patriots get a running back, Ezekiel Elliott, in New England. That is interesting news there. That's a solid fit for me. I'm interested to see some other thoughts as we go along here, but makes sense. A lot of these running backs obviously not happy right now and taking a lot of 1-year I'm imagine. So I'm interested to see how that plays out in New England this year. He's obviously a big name. He's never really been a locker room issue from what I understand. So I think it should be a fairly seamless transition there, and we shall see what type of production he puts out there in New England this year. So moving on from that, Seattle and Kansas City, Gilbert versus Singer. With how hot Seattle is right now, and Gilbert Gilbert last time out, 7 innings, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 12 Ks. Got to be his best start of the season. And the Mariners were cooled off, but the Orioles had a long win streak, lost 2 out of 3 to the Orioles this past weekend. Singer 6 2/3, 5 hits, 3 runs. His last time out, he's been a little all over the place. But with how hot Seattle has been, to only see them as minus 150 favorite up from minus 130. It's got to be a little fishy to some folks there. First 5, even minus 135. So I apologize over here. Goodness gracious. This one seems fishy to me. I mean, I don't think you can deny that. 38 and 81 Kansas City Royals. Only plus 128 money line underdog there. Something's fishy here. Something is fishy here. Maybe the Mariners win 8-0. And I'm off my rocker, but last 2 days, 12 and 4 runs scored for Kansas City. Actually, no game yesterday, but 12 and 4 runs at home against St. Louis. I think we might have something on our foot here, and Gilbert might be due for some regression. Singer has actually shown some flashes. Maybe this is a really good Singer start, and that's what we're talking about here. And maybe this Mariners offense is due to cool down. 3 and 0 runs each of the last 2 days. So I guess that's what I'm leaning on. I could be leaning on a really good Singer start. Even if Gilbert gives up 2-3, that's a little regression from one hitter with 0 runs over 7 innings and 12 strikeouts. So that is where I'm going to lean. I'm going to lean towards the Royals tonight. Obviously, it's a big pill to swallow against a team that was just, I don't know how many wins in a row before they lost to. But at the end of the day, that one has got to feel a little fishy for you there. Arizona and Colorado, Merrill Kelly and Chris Flexen. If you didn't notice, Chris Flexen over in Colorado now. He's got a couple of starts, I think, for Colorado. This will be his 4th start with Colorado. Has not been very good so far. 8 and 10 hits each of the last 2 allowed hits, that is. Merrill Kelly, 6 innings, 6 hits, no runs. His last time out, he's getting going now after an IL stint. Rockies just lost 5 in a row, all of them on the road there. And the D-backs end their skid with a series win over the Padres. So 2 teams that are not coming into this playing very well. Obviously, Arizona did just win a series there. You got Merrill Kelly in, who's starting to pitch really well, though. Total of 11.5. I don't know what to make of this one because I have been a person that has been vocal about the Rockies turning things around at home. They've been, I probably about 500 since I made that statement. I've had 2 or 3 wins out of them. I think I've been profitable in a very selective spot with them. And having said that, it is a little tricky, though, with how ugly this Diamondbacks team has been playing with Merrill Kelly on the mound. You could see them really turning things on. But at the end of the day, it wouldn't shock me if Merrill Kelly's got a little regression out of himself there. His last 4 since he's came back from the IL stint have been really solid. Giving up some hits, though, and I really think you could see an ugly one here tonight in Colorado. But again, Chris Flexen, if I'm doing anything, though, I'm not trusting Chris Flexen on the mound for Colorado. 11.5 on the team on the full game total, though, kind of suggests that he might be better than what you would expect. Obviously, 11.5 sounds like a lot, but in Colorado, not so much. Arizona 6.5, even 7.5 on the team total. I'm going to go under. I think they go under that. I think that is a big number up against a guy who people are thinking is going to be a beanbag. And get his lights, himself lit up there. So I'm going to go against that. I'll say I'll stick to what I said as far as Colorado being worthy of some home dog looks. And I'll say today is that case. It's obviously a rough one, but and I'm not all the way over the moon on it. But I will be leaning towards that one. I don't think it's that easy, as easy as it looks there for Arizona. Baltimore and San Diego. Next one up, we've only got a couple more left. Baltimore and San Diego. In San Diego, Grayson Rodriguez, Yu Darvish. Rodriguez, 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs. Last few, a lot consistently better after some rough stretches there. Darvish, 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 unearned run last time out. He's been pretty good his last 3. O's win that series against the Mariners, and the Padres now 2-7 in their last 9. Things are going south again for the Padres after a little bit of a positive stretch there for before this 2-9 or 2-7 stretch, whatever I just said. And now you've got a Padres team minus 140 at home against a really good Orioles team. A lot of respect being given to Yu Darvish in this situation, I think. And I've been vocal. I like Yu Darvish in those spots where he's had a couple of bad ones and he's due for a really good start. But I'm not sure. I think what to make out of this one, you've got a flat 8, so it is a little tough. I could see the Padres putting up some runs on Grayson Rodriguez here. So I'll go over 4.5 on the Padres team total is where I'm leaning. And I could see Darvish regressing as well. We've got and this 8 is more of a mind games type situation as far as the flat 8 there. So I'm going to go Padres team total, taking a few runs off of Grayson Rodriguez, a little regression there. Tampa and San Francisco, last one up. I'm holding the Tampa Bay offense, as we talked about in the start of the show. That is obviously an issue that I'm not going to talk about further, but got to do your own research on that one. Obviously not a good situation for Tampa as a baseball team right now either. They've got Glasnow on the mound, who has been really, really solid, is still getting going here. Skipped his last start, however, with back spasms. He was incredible in July. So not sure what to make out of it, if he's still affected by back spasms or if he's 100% fine, whatever it is. Skipped to start, so it's been about 10, 14 days, off the top of my head, without a start. Walker, on the other hand, is going to be a bullpen start for the Giants. Rays did take the series over the weekend against Cleveland. Rough weekend for the Giants, so 2-6 of their last 8. So a little bit of a rough stretch for them right now. They are home dogs with Glasnow on the mound for Tampa. I don't know if that's kind of suggesting that this could be a really good one for Glasnow and the Rays here. Minus 150 on the first 5 as compared to the minus 134 there. A lot of people believing in Glasnow, but obviously this, and with the way this Giants team is playing, would not shock me at all if the Giants pulled something off here and put up a few runs, or maybe their pitching staff is great tonight. I will stay away from it or respect Glasnow. I have a lot of respect for him, but at the end of the day, this Giants team, whenever you think they're down and out and going to be slumping, they turn things around quickly. So without anything else, that is where I'm going to I shouldn't say I'm leaning. I'm just saying maybe buyer beware on Tampa not being so easy there in San Francisco tonight. And the 7.5. Would have loved to see a flat 7 if I was really that confident in Glasnow tonight. So, nonetheless, that is about it for the baseball slate tonight, my friends. Talked to a handful of different things off the top of the show, and then obviously Ezekiel Elliott in town for New England. Not sure if he's going to be ready to go for this preseason game, but they're in Green Bay this weekend. Patriots and Packers on Saturday evening, so not sure if he'll be active or not for that, but he will at least, I'm sure, be on the sideline. So I'm sure there'll be plenty to talk about leading up to that. But aside from that, we will have plenty of other coverage going on the rest of the week. Golf coverage, baseball coverage, obviously, NFL coverage as well, amongst some other things, I'm sure. Is this the weekend for the UFC big event? It is. So we will have some UFC coverage as well. UFC 292 this weekend, Sterling and O'Malley. Highly anticipated fight there. So bantamweight title fight there. So going to be a very fun week here on these shows, especially as we get closer and closer to football season. It is right around the corner, especially a couple weeks, week and a half, 2 weeks and a half away from college football. So I absolutely cannot wait. We are going to get rocking and rolling. So hope you all stick around for the long haul as far as football season is concerned. Thank you, Connor, for stopping by and commenting. Apologies for not mentioning it earlier in the show. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I will be back Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, I believe, for some closing bells to get everything going on that night and recap anything that might have happened in that day or day before. So you'll see my shining face again here about 24 hours from now, my friends. Thank y'all and have a good night.